is the oak of righteousness?
The oaks of righteousness are the planting of the Lord for the display of his splendor. It's out of Isaiah. They are the next generation. Those, and maybe I shouldn't say the next generation. Those are those you're going to impact. So the Lord spoke to me, I'm going to open doors that no man can close. And he pulls me through the keyhole. And I take this, and he takes me, most of me is just shredding off. I'm just like being peeled off when he grabs a hold of me, he literally pulled me through the keyhole. So I'm taking the shape of the key. And the Lord speaks to me and he says, you want to get there looking good. I want you to get there looking like my son.
Amen.
So he shapes me to look like his son. So he takes me out of a ministry identity, brings me into sonship identity, and I know how big he is. And now that I believe that I am who I say I am, I will put you in a place where I have overcome. And he said, I'm gonna unlock this door. He said, I'm gonna use you to unlock this door, but this door is not for you alone. This is for the many that are gonna come in after you. So those are the oaks of righteousness. The many that are going to come in through your testimony, through your battle, through your weakness, but where Jesus overcame on your behalf. And the testimony of what Jesus did for me in my place of weakness, that's what opens the door. And many, it gives hope to many. And they're like, I thought I had to be perfect. I thought I had to do it right. You mean he'll do it for me? He already did it, And all of a sudden the hopeless have hope. Those that are downcast, all of a sudden they can get up on their feet because they can look at you and say, if he did it for you, he'll do it for me. And so they have the courage to stand up again. They have the hope to stand up again. And they come streaming through that door. And all of a sudden where the enemy was trying to keep you thought the enemy was trying to keep that door shut for you. He saw the thousands, the army, the Joel's army that was about to come through that door after you opened it up. And so he knew if he could stop you, he could stop the thousands. And those thousands are the many that you're going to touch through your life, through your testimony, and who the Lord's going to touch through you. So those are the oaks of righteousness. Do you have it? I know it's in Isaiah. It talks about them being oaks of righteousness. So the oak is something, it's of strength. It is something, and so the oak tree is also known for its acorn. So it raises up children. It's never about the tree itself. It's about the children that comes forth. The oak tree gives shade to many. The oak tree, to me, would be one that God raises up for the purpose of giving covering to many. It's never about the tree. It's about the many. It's about others. It's about raising up sons and daughters, dropping the acorn so that fruitfulness comes forth. And it really, to me, maybe this is just how God's wired me or walk me through things. The oak, to me, is very symbolic of the Malachi 4. I mean, it's the spirit of Elijah. It really is. And it's turning the hearts of the fathers for the healing of the generations and the restoration and the covering so that the young ones can be established and be raised up. That's the purpose of the apostolic covering, is so the young ones can be established and raised up. It's never forgotten. And we've turned into the platform ministry. And so there's a transition that's going to begin to happen. God poured out, and it's so interesting too, because I think it's in John. Where is it? So it's 14 or 15, but then it's verse 17 and then verse 18, and Jesus says, He says, I will send you another. I will send you the Spirit of truth. And then he goes on to say, the world doesn't know him, but you know him. But then in 18 it says, I will not leave you as orphans. And the reason he does that is the world still thinks they're orphans. They still function out of an orphan mentality. I will not leave you as orphans. I will bring you I will send the Spirit of truth to bring you into true identity. I'm going to send the Spirit of truth to heal your identity. I will break off the abandonment, the sense of I will break off the deception and the lie. It really is. The orphan spirit is deception and it's a lie. The Lord told me one time I was going through a season of just rejection. And it was just, and finally it got to where I started laughing about it. You know, it's like, this is just getting comical. It's like, okay, I give up. Well, show me the punchline, you know, because obviously I'm a joke, you know. It's like, what? And it was just, the Lord spoke to me, and He said, it's impossible for you to be rejected. I was like, you haven't been watching the last 6 months? Or, I mean, what'd you miss out? Where were you? Because I've been here. You know, I saw it. I saw it. And He said, it's impossible for you to be rejected. Because He said, I will never leave you nor forsake you. And He said, I'm not enough. And so it was just like, I was looking for the approval of man. I was looking for man to give me my identity. And it's like I was looking for man to give my identity. And here's the trap in that. Where Satan told Eve, if you eat of the tree, you will be like God. The truth was, she was already like God. She was made in that image. And so that orphan, it's such a lie and a deception. And that's really that. So he's pouring out that spirit of Elijah really to heal our identity. And really, you know, and it's like when you come into right identity, there's quietness and there's rest. And it really, in the quietness and rest, is really what brought Jesus into John 5:19, where I only do what I see the Father do. So He had right identity with the Father, and He wasn't looking for the approval of man. He, you know, so all those things that I struggled with over all those years was just, it really was an issue of right identity. So, and I want to talk a little bit then, because each one of you are going to be on a platform. Each one of you. Do you believe that? I saw that question mark. In my quiet time, I was sitting there, and it almost looked like a foxhole or a grave almost. Like I was down in this dirt, you know? And it's like, and it wasn't very pretty, but I knew that it was a low place. And all of a sudden, I could hear a little trickle coming. And I could hear this trickle, and it's like this little stream came out over the edge of this low place where I was at and began to fill it up. And it's like the Lord began to speak to me about, He said, the low place, the water always gravitates to the lowest point. Mm-hmm. And so those that have humbled themselves, I am about to raise up. I am about to release a stream in the wilderness. And we were talking, as like that verse came up, and it was like the Lord started saying He was going to release a stream in the wasteland. Mm-hmm. And so I saw you wanting that door to open up in front of you. And so I thought of that. And what I saw was this little stream. I could see where your feet were at and where you were standing. This little stream started, and it was just a little, and it started coming, and it's like it started to eat away the soil underneath your feet. And all of a sudden, instead of the door opening up, that water carved out an opening that was deep enough underneath that door that you entered into that, through that what the Spirit had carved out in kind of like the path where He has you. He's carving something out that's going to allow you to enter into that. And it's almost like how it's just He's releasing a stream to bring transformation. Where that door has not been opened up to you. And I don't know why I think some of the door, and I don't know that we even need to, I think it's more church man-made than it is anything you said. Does that make sense? I think it's more the door was shut to you than you didn't want the door to be open. I think it's more what was closed to you. So I feel like the Lord is He's bypassing, and I feel like each one of us,
Amen.
things have been closed to each one of us. There's been opposition. And maybe man didn't misunderstand, and most of that is associated to an orphan spirit from someone's functioning in an orphan spirit, and so a door is closed to us from entering into that place of identity. So the Lord's going to begin to release streams in the wasteland. The stream begins to bring transformation. The stream begins to turn the desert into a well-watered garden. All of a sudden, where there was barrenness, now there's fruitfulness. And so in our weakness, He is going to manifest His strength.
Yes.
In our barrenness, He is going to manifest fruitfulness. And He's going to break forth on our behalf.